Hello, Internet. Welcome. I'm hosting today Daniel with me. Daniel used to be the director of engineering for Metaculous, and right now he's working on a super secret startup that I don't know what he's doing there. But he asked me to maybe he asked me to maybe develop together some kind of execution engine in JavaScript for a thing that he needs there, and we're gonna try to maybe like solve this problem in 20 minutes. Let's see how far can we get. We have our Visual Studio Code here set up with live coding, so we can both type together on the same file, and let's see if this would make this horrible or amazing.
Yeah, let's do that. Should I start describing like the problem we
Yeah?
had? Cool. So basically, we in the project we are working on, we have like a user-facing platform where we execute like a lot of tasks that run in sequence, but some of them also in parallel. So you can think about it as like a processing workflow, basically. I come mostly from like Python world, where I also like used to do some like machine learning and data engineering, where this was like basically um, like the most common thing I did. So something like you have a set of tasks, you define your workflow, and you run them, and you have some like control over the execution because it's like a long running thing, maybe in minutes. You want to like maybe pause them. Um, you want to be able to like rerun the thing and so on and so on. This has been implemented in the current project within Next.js project, and it was mostly on the front end. So basically, you can think about this that this is the way how it has been implemented was like a long chain of promises that you feed one promise into. It looks nice, but also is somewhat like very brittle. You can't really control it very well. You can like really rerun from like a specific promise. We are talking about something like maybe 30 different like tasks that we have to run in the workflow. And what complicates things a bit is that it's not like fully linear. And there are also, so that means that like I'm not sure if it's like a DAG fully, like a direct acyclic graph, but there are definitely parts where we want to like run things in parallel because they took too long. Like one of the tasks that we want to run at the very beginning of the pipeline takes about, for example, like 30 seconds, and we definitely want to wait for 30 seconds to run the next task. That doesn't even need that as a dependency.
Okay.
To complicate things further, and I think this is like the last, well, okay, two more bits. Um, um, Complicated first with something such as like dynamicity of the execution or some kind of like a on-the-fly decision on where to go next in the like the tree of the execution for the tree. So this is one of the requirements that we had for this thing that we had to be able to basically
Change the tree as you go.
yeah, exactly. So you kind of know what's going to come, like you know the conditional branches in advance, but you don't know which of these like branches should be taken before you run the execution. Because, for example, in the task three, you decide if to go to task A or task B depending on how task three
Finished.
finished.
Okay.
So this is one thing.
So it's not you're not changing the tree, but you're taking branches. You're taking predetermined branches
Yeah,
depending on. Okay, so you don't need to mutate the structure. You
yeah,
just need to like divert the control flow based on results.
exactly. So that's why I'm like trying to specify that it's like kind of like fixed in advance which paths are going to be taken, but you don't know
Which one is going to be
which one
taken
is going
until they're resolved? Yeah.
until the result.
Okay.
And so this is one of those two things. And second one is that, as I mentioned, the current implementation is mostly like really coupled with the framework, with the Next.js thing. Basically, this is like a part of the promise chain is part of like a component rendering and so on and so on. We want to be able to run it also like independently from the front end. So I also try to like bring some like separation of concerns so the execution happens entirely free of like any React code, for example, or framework code. The main reason is that the current flow for our so the application is really like machine learning heavy, and the current flow for our machine learning engineers is that they basically code it on the side and then they like convert it into the front end
Yeah.
bit, which is obviously like very that would be great if the same thing could be used without the front end. Therefore we need to be like able to like read the whatever the implementation is going to be. We have to be like able to read the processing on the front end, but not like coupling it entirely with the execution of the front end code, so it can be run without the front end.
Okay. So
I also have one solution right now, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you want to like just start over from scratch or
like depending on let's say you're now the customer, you have my time,
I see.
so you can choose to use it as you please.
I see. I would be probably curious to just like hear. I'm happy to like present what I put together, but I would be curious to hear like what would be your approach to this thing, and maybe I can like chip in with like, oh yeah, I consider this, I didn't consider this, and like.
Okay, so first of all, like we have previously a little bit talked about this, I would probably try to model things as state machines here, because what we have is basically a control flow of a lot of like complex things, but we do not really care about what the things are so much. We have just long-running processes, and when they finish, we'd like to transition to another state. And the fact that you say that you have like some steps that are dependent later on the results of some other things, that like like a little bit shifts like my mind of like maybe modeling this as a proper state machine. And I'm also like specifically thinking in the past few days about like dependency injection and like all sorts of like weird stuff in order to make things like work magically. And
Actually, but
yeah,
but,
no,
I would love to maybe, because the dependency injection sounds as something that would solve at least some of the issues I had in the current implementation. So even if you didn't want to give you more reasoning for that, is that basically you can imagine that I have implemented somehow the workflow like structure where you specify forward facing, so the tasks specify where the workflow should go next. I'm also doing it like backward facing, but whatever. And basically, I mentioned that when you jump to the next task, you have to specify what inputs should go into the next task.
Yep.
And those inputs are basically like fetched from this like huge results object that is like being passed on during the execution. And I lost type safety there because I basically, for every task, I have to specify like an argument getter function.
Yeah.
And I believe this is, for example, in the other projects, such as I think maybe like Prefect or others, are able to like gather that from the dependencies, specifying the dependencies. I'm not sure, but maybe that's how I imagine that the dependencies there.
Okay, so you're now missing in your current implementation, which we don't have here. Would you like to maybe like paste your current implementation into the file?
So
as long as it's not like secret.
I believe this is not that. And also you are helping.
Yeah, but this is going to be public on the internet, so you know.
Yeah, I would actually. This would be a great. Great open source bin library or something.
Yeah.
If that got into. Okay, so this is basically the structure I have right now.
Yeah.
We will probably have to.
Yeah, let's rename this to like TypeScript, and then maybe this would not be sad. Name is like horrible.
Do you mind just? I'll try to give you an example of that is.
So field types is a thing. Can I just define it here?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Can task A task. Actually, I will put it up.
Yeah.
The structure for task.
What
format?
I like.
Oh, yeah, it works. Let's work. Yeah, and I don't know if we should try to like fix the types or right now or not. It's more like an example of what we have right now.
Okay, so this is okay. So what we see here is an example of a flow, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So we have something that's called stages, and like this is just
And each stage can have multiple actions that run in parallel.
Yeah, so you have slow data and base data. I'm not sure, like this is just a name, or do they have like any significance except for like business significance?
These are really just like differences.
Okay, so
I will add one more stage that maybe is better example. So we now have two stages. Remove actions here as well. Well, now I believe it's like fairly representative. But yeah, here we have a stage called base data. Can you see my
what? Yeah.
Here, base data that has two actions. Actions are basically just to task for that name reasons. But yeah, these would run as basically like a thing. These would run in parallel, and yeah, and after they are done, specifies undone field, which is in this case the name of the next stage. And in this stage, there is one action, and yeah, then it would go to Google results section, but they haven't copied.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
If we kept it empty, it would basically like finalize the work. Maybe we can just now if you look at the definition of undone, you can also see that it doesn't have to be necessarily just the stage name, but it can also be a function that takes the current results and then it returns. So that's the dynamicity that I talked about, how I implemented the case.
Okay, so yeah, you could you could make a decision, like an arbitrary decision at the finish time of a task.
Yeah, exactly. So basically how it would be used here is something like, yeah, let's say results, general queries, yeah, that's it, returned null. In that case, finish the workflow, or otherwise go to the next.
I'd say don't mind the type errors, like don't worry about that. So, but this could also be something like if result general queries has some number bigger than 3. Yes. Could have like decided to go to either stage A or stage B, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. This can be like an arbitrary function.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing, and you'd probably need to have this as a function because you still don't know your structure of things, and you cannot like formally have this as like some kind of like query that you can you don't have like a formal query thing that this will be the only way for me to branch between workflows.
And this is the part where I also lose the
type safety.
And similarly in the next section, if you see the argument getter.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's an example of where I'm type safety, because there's no guarantee that data has base rate queries or general queries at that time.
Yeah.
Well, like from the type safety perspective, because I know that, but I have to the burden is on the user and developer.
So would you like us to try to go like full on TypeScript on this, or you'd like us to maybe find some like try to what is the thing you'd like to solve right now? We can go like try to like do like TypeScript wizardry here to try to make this work.
Yeah. We have like last 10 minutes together, but I don't know, it'd be more like, I don't know where to go. Like general improvements to the current structure would be also great, because it's unlikely that I would like to change the current implementation, which like seems to reasonably work at the moment. I expect to rewrite it eventually to something that will better serve our purpose. So yeah, maybe like having a smaller goal of trying to improve it in a way that there would be the type safety somehow, or I don't know. I would really like to get rid of the argument getters, but maybe it's impossible.
So what you could do is, first of all, given that you have here like this input, and you need to go to, let's say, stage this one, could have this as some kind of magic thing where you basically pass in this the parameters you'd actually expect to have here. Do you like see where I'm going with this?
Yes, I would be curious to see how it looks like. What I don't like that much is that now we are like putting quite a lot of dependency on anything that comes after, which is not like, this is full of trade-offs. I had to do some like trade-offs. It's about trade-offs. So maybe it would look better. I'm doing it to some degree in the onDone function, but it seems more isolated than if I'm like putting it into
so first of all, let's try to nothing.
By the way,
I thought I was working on the onDone function. Sorry.
Okay.
So what I was aiming for is something in this area where we'd say your own keywords, and now like pass here the data that you'd like to actually pass to that stage. Yeah. So this one would be just back to inputs. Yeah, that's correct. And here, like this action, this is just an object. So you could literally define like the type it accepts. Let's just go with this is how it works. And like this is a arrow functions. No, in order to define like the call method, you'd need to have this. How do you define functions and objects in TypeScript? Like this is some like I'm blanking out. You could just say like.
I thought you named the function, but I'm not sure how you can do it with anonymous. I think you can do my function.
Yeah, no, but I thought about like just using like making the object callable, but maybe this
is that possible? Not like that?
I believe so.
Interesting.
But
I'm new to TypeScript.
Yeah, no, this is not TypeScript thing. It's a JavaScript thing. But also like maybe let's just go with something simpler like some kind of like a initializer or something like.
It could be the argument getter again, no?
So the argument getter itself, yeah, it could be the argument getter, but you're passing to the stage, and this is the first stage. So we'd need to somehow hoist the first argument getter into this root here. Yeah, so let's go with like something like start, and this is a function that accepts something, and now this object here, which is of type, and now let's try to understand like what types does this need. So this needs the shape of this, right? So we could go with like crazy thing type of can we somehow address actions here? Like this is something that you would need to do like on the TypeScript level somewhere above.
I was thinking if there is like a way how to basically but it seems a bit crazy.
Okay, so yeah, you could have like self-referential types here. That's not like a problem.
But I haven't found a way how you could like reference a specific.
Yeah, you could reference like first of all, like the fact that this is an object and not an array. This is a problem, maybe, because that means you cannot like reference the first step right now, or maybe you can, but like this is a flat namespace basically. And like within each stage, you do have like an array of things. So each stage has. Oh, sorry. So we are here. This is like the start thing, and what we'd like here to accept, like this would need to accept something. So this data is type of execution data. This is a tricky one. Let's maybe try to have this like as a separate type, so we don't need to like index into like the crazy type that's above it.
Could be actions.
Action. You would activate the reform method. That would be probably nice.
Yeah, we didn't get it now.
Have I broken anything here? No. This looks like
it worked before, so I'm out of
that's all right.
All the errors. I'm unsure.
Yeah.
Oh, here. It happened. Yeah. No.
Yeah. And okay, so we have here the on start, let's say, or something like that, and this is a function that accepts some kind of data, and it needs to be actions, the first thing. Yeah, okay, so we now we have now indexed into our own to our own structure, and here what we'd like to do is this would be argument getter, and this would need to be now the and yeah, we're already like in typeland. This is not a what we need to like. You have the utility types of TypeScript, which I've always forget types. Yeah, this is like a great page. Arguments, parameters. Yep. So you could go with now the parameters of all of this. Yeah. So right now this one is this is going to be actually the thing that you want to do probably. Like this is bound to the type of the first thing that you do. But just the only thing that you're missing right now is the fact that this is bound to yourself. We would like to bind to the next one. So in order for this to happen, we don't need like we need to say like we want the type of the next stage.
But by the way, just to pause here, this would already, I think, help in. So, and if we kept it like that, we could use this to make sure that whatever this returns, the argument getter, it is what the task accepts.
Yeah.
Could we do that?
Yeah. So you have your argument getter and this task here. So we don't have the type task here. So you probably, if you can paste it in, and then this would be like the good thing that you'd actually want to do. So yeah, you'd like to actually patch up the type there. Parameters of action, the argument getter.
So this is the task.
Yep. So a task sends any array as like a run thing. Status running done. Probably pending is like the thing that you'd like to model this as running. But but also, like this needs to be somehow bound to your self type, not to the general task type, because this is
yeah, like the tasks are then not subclasses of the task, but instances.
yeah. So so they all accept the same thing.
Yeah, let me show you an example of I hate the boilerplate about that, by the way. So here an example. And imagine that this is
yeah. Okay. So this is just a function. Okay. So you do know how to like use the like return types and the parameters.
I'm using it but at
Yeah.
the moment it's not like really utilized.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, like this probably needs to be like generic on like the type F. Then you could use like generic on F, right? And now this needs to be like something in the lines of F. The parameters.
You can see that in the task I already like basically use the type that the operation.
Oh, so you have that exec function. Okay. So why didn't you just then use this right here? Sorry, on our yeah. This isn't it what you wanted? Not results, but sorry, argument getter returns this, and this is.
I think so. Yeah. This is just general.
Yeah, x and func.
Yeah, that would probably be pretty cool improvement.
Okay, so and this should have been execution date.
Okay. That's I think that's great. That would help to.
I'm not sure if this is the thing that you actually aim for, but this would basically mean that you are now bound to some, like each action is bound to some function f, at least if this is actually defined correctly. Like I'm trying to take your word for it that this actually works, that like the genericness of task. But if task is properly typed and you do that, then you're now binding the argument getter into your task, basically. Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's awesome. That's something slightly different than what we started with, but this is like already a great improvement to the current implementation. And now you could actually like, as you can see, you can now bind like things to each other, and then you could have this like work. Cool. Awesome. So thank you. Yeah. I will have to run now, but I appreciate your time and help. Thank you. That I would try to maybe with your help later to actually like implement it in our code base. Awesome. And yeah, thanks. Awesome. It's been great hosting you. And yeah, hope people learned maybe a little bit about TypeScript if they could see through all the squiggly lines. Yeah. And if not, then we'll see you in the next video maybe. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.